Welcome to Dublin. We're now on week 7 of our delay, but that's okay because we get to see so many different things that we would not even have seen if we had been on the cruise ship. So life's an adventure and we're living it. Miss Molly Malone has a song and a statue in Dublin. Legend has it if you rub her left breast, you will get lucky. People obviously don't know the difference between the left and right, or are just greedy. We got through a lot of things in Dublin. We did 2 different walking tours. There was still a lot of troubles. Interestingly enough, Dublin is part of the EU, whereas the other part of Northern Ireland is still part of the United Kingdom. So here they use the euro, and in Northern Ireland they still use the pound. This is Dublin Castle, and the round part, the Record Tower, is the sole surviving tower of the medieval castle, dating from 1228, and the rest has had to be reconstructed because of the wars. The Celtic knot in the grass here goes along with a story about how Dublin got its name. If you look into it, it's actually the Vikings that named Dublin. They have a lot of different museums around that are free. Mark and I took a tram ride, and we also took a double-decker bus ride from the top, which I'd never done before, which was really cool. Literally just to get around the town and have a look at the different places that we couldn't really walk to. So basically there and back to see how far it is. As you can see, it's still quite different architecture to other places around Ireland. That's the General Post Office. The GPO building was a target for a lot of bullets when they had the 1916 Easter Rising. They're still here in this building. O'Reilly was the first of the leaders to be killed and the only one to die in action. He lay dying and he wrote a letter to his wife. It's now on a plaque where he lay. This statue here is at the Garden of Remembrance, and it's based on the legend of the children of Lear, where 4 children were transformed into swans. It's a place for the remembrance of the people who gave their lives for Irish freedom. It's so beautiful. And then I found Murray's public house. For those that don't know, Murray is my brother. So meanwhile, we've had confirmation that we have another delay on our ship, and we are now delayed till July 20th. They have asked for everyone to go home that can go home. I sound probably a bit funny, and the reason for that is I managed to catch COVID on the way home. So sorry about the not so great voice today. I wasn't going to tell you because I was going to do some videos from New Zealand, but as I've caught COVID, I'm in isolation, so there won't be a video next week, unfortunately. And I did find Tipperary, even though it was a long way to go. So, one more excursion for us before we jump on that big plane home. We went to Trinity College in Dublin, and my goodness, what an amazing place here. So many famous people have been here. This particular building was actually my favourite. It has been made of all sorts of different stones. The flower pattern around the building has never been repeated. Each flower is different. And as you can see inside, different coloured columns with different rock, and what an amazing ceiling it has. I really find natural stone quite breathtaking because of the different patterns you find in it and the different colours. There's often a lot of sparkle involved, which is something I love. They also have different fossils and skeletons here, which is quite interesting. And I think in the building they have these little star-shaped things, which I think might be some sort of ventilation because they go from the inside to the outside. Don't really know. The amazing stonework is also transferred to the outside of this building, where they've got those round, beautiful decorations. All the buildings here are actually quite different and made different. They have been given a bronze globe outside the main library. It's called a sphere within a sphere. But actually, what we came to see was the long room and the Book of Kells. which is an illuminated manuscript of the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. The Book of Kells is the only one of its kind, and it's here for safekeeping, which is just astounding, and we got to see it. We were not allowed to take photos there, but we did get to see it. And this long room, which is a library, wow, this is absolutely stunning. Now, they've taken out a lot of the books here for restoration and cataloguing and digitalising. It was built between 1712 and 1732. It used to have a flat plaster ceiling, but they got so full of books that they had to raise the roof, which made it even more stunning, if that was at all possible. Now, this globe was so huge. I hope that I could capture some sort of perspective on that so you can see how big it was. There are a lot of plaster cast busts here, and Mark needed to see just one, Ada Lovelace, who was considered the first computer programmer. We were then directed to the Book of Kells experience and who should be talking.
Calculating machine, which he called the difference engine. He thought it was a machine and nothing more. But I wondered if it could be made into something greater, a machine that could think for itself. And I wonder, are we thinking machines, perhaps?
Surely it's also no accident that we're in a library. A library is a thing that's always being added to. New books, new ideas. That means new writers.
So that was really weird. They had all of these statues talking, and quite a history lesson there. Moving on, we came to a place where the Book of Kells came to life. So they have digitalised all these pages and done some amazing things with them. If you were ever in Dublin, I would highly recommend coming to visit Trinity College. There is just so much history and so many cool stories. But this experience is actually something that I have never come across before, so well worth the visit. After this part, there was a movie that was a 360-degree movie, like in a dome, that explained how the Book of Kells came to be, that it was written in Scotland, and then it was transported to Dublin so that the Vikings couldn't steal it from Scotland. Now, Dublin never actually gave it back to them. In Dublin, they have a lot of Georgian architecture. I'd never known the name of this style before, but as you can see, as the windows go up, they get shorter, and that means that the building looks taller. The next morning before our flight, we went to the Chester Beatty Museum. He had spent a lifetime collecting religious artefacts from around the world, and before he died, he gave them to the city of Dublin, but with the express conditions that they were to be kept at a place where it was free for everyone to come and see them. There's more to see in Dublin, but we've got to go home. Remember, no video next week, but be on the lookout for a special one the week after.